Yeah. Welcome to Poets Out Loud meet SpeakEasy Online. It's February 2021. It's sort of wintry outside, but hopefully there will be lots of warmth from the words we share. And yeah, if we do the usual thing of if we can mute ourselves when we're not reading and unmute when we are reading, and you can do the applause or the sign language applause, that's cool. And we'll probably do one piece at a time and go around the group until we're all poeted out. And yeah, we're going to be on a 40-minute limit, but just use the same login to get in as you've just used to sign up, and that should be good. There's just a couple more stragglers. But yeah, it's really good to see you all. Hi, Kelly.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
It's all right. Are you going to dash off for your dinner as well?
Afraid so.
What are you having for dinner, Kelly? Tell us.
I daren't tell you. You'll think we live on soup, which is fairly accurate.
All right.
It's lentil soup again.
Hooray!
There's
Cheap
absolutely
and
nothing wrong with soup, Kelly. Nothing wrong
yeah.
with soup.
We only tune in with you twice a month, so you may be having other food the rest of the time. We don't know.
Yeah, we try to vary it a bit, but somehow we always end up eating soup when I come to this. Anyway,
I had to really rush my tea for this one. The lobster thermidor and white truffles didn't hit the sides.
Ooh.
Yeah, in soup form.
In soup form, of course.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cool. All right. Yeah. We'll just do the usual routine, and yeah, it's Poets Out Loud meet SpeakEasy, and it's the 10th of February. There's a couple of notices. I haven't done any notices for a while because there hasn't been anything happening for a while, but there might be. There's a project at the moment that I know a few people have responded to, the Carlisle See Here project. That's Mark Costello is compiling an audio library of mostly stories, but there's a few poems and things in the mix as well, as a kind of resource inspired by his work with the Society for the Blind. But it's just a resource for partially sighted people and others who want to listen to sort of audiobooks and bits and pieces. We've had a really good response so far. I know there's a few more people wanted to send us some stuff, but if anybody's interested, give me a shout on Facebook, or you can message Called You Press, and I can give you some more information about that if you'd like to share, as I say, a recording of local writers reading work. And yeah, he was looking for pieces around about 5 to 10 minutes, but as we say, we can do sort of compilations of poetry. And good evening, Susan. Hello. There's also another one of Mark's projects is the Carlisle Sound Map. That's been going for a few months now, and again, a few people have contributed to that. And it's an audio project where he's looking for recordings from people in the Carlisle sort of area. But, I don't know. Going off the postcode, that might be the whole of Cumbria. I don't know. It's sort of 2 minute pieces, really, just people sharing who they are, what they're doing, where they are at a particular time and date. And it's kind of related to lockdown and people's experiences in lockdown, but you could do it in poetry form or a little story. It's up to you. And again, there's information on the Carlisle Sound Map Facebook page, but I've linked it through to the SpeakEasy Facebook page as well. But again, if you want any information about that, just give us a shout. Okay. That's two things. The third thing, John Hegley got in touch about this fabled John Keats project that he's been wanting to do this year, and we penciled in Saturday the 20th of March as a provisional date for him maybe doing. Might be a bit different from the workshop we did with us last time. You might do sort of a half an hour set of material inspired by John Keats and stuff that he's been working on, but he said he's not tested it on anybody before, so we'd be sort of guinea pigs. And then there might be a chance for Q&A and possibly some workshopping ideas and bits and pieces around John Keats and stuff. So if people are up for that, I think that would be really cool, and there'll be more details emerging soon. But yeah, just thought I'd flag that up and get the word out for that. That would be a Zoom thing probably on the morning of Saturday the 20th of March. And then the fourth thing is there's been a number of people asking over the last few months, and Mike Smith said the other day, when is there going to be another SpeakEasy magazine? So we thought, yeah, why not? So we'll probably open a submissions window for that from next week till the start of May. Again, there'll be more info going on the Facebook page and stuff. But does that sound okay to people? Yeah, okay. So look on the Facebook page for that. But yeah, that would be really, really cool. All right, I'm going to shut up about notices now and read something, and then we can have Kelly before she dashes off for a soup, and then I'll let you know who's next. Okay, cool. Well, this is a piece that I got asked by Carlisle College. Some of the media students there were doing a project to take photographs on the theme of red, and they were photographing all sorts of red objects and bits and pieces. Some of them were photographing swings in the park, and others were showing pictures of this beautiful sunset was one, and then their tutor said, "Phil, would you judge these pictures?" And they're all disparate pictures. They're all different. They're all amazing. But she said, "You've got to pick two. You've got to pick a winner and a runner-up." And I'm like, how do you compare all these different sort of different landscapes or urban environments and things? And in the end, I went for, there was this stunning sunset, and I thought that's just magic. So that came first, and then there was a lad had taken a photograph of a no entry sign at night, and it just looked like this red disc against the black background, and I thought that's quite symbolic of lockdown and everything we're living through at the moment. So I thought I'll give that the runners up. But there were so many others that were terrific. So these words were inspired by the sort of poetry, the unspoken poetry in the pictures the students had come up with. So this is the unspoken poetry. What's said in the unspoken poetry? Blood red warning sign declares no entry, floating in a sea of black nothingness. Man-made framework encroaches nature's world, flaking red paint peeling from rusting metal. These are swings that don't sway, roundabouts which don't turn. Absent is the laughter and play. Children are all at home, telltale signs of lockdown. Church doors closed, shutting out the community, often a beacon in times of crisis. The black silhouette of bare, gnarled branches of winter trees, a stationary turbine, awaits a cold wind to blow. The ball of fire sets the sky ablaze with terracotta clouds. Crimson pools lie at the side of a long track, rolling into the distance, cutting between inkwell shaded hedgerows. Footsteps and tire tracks are missing from a road not travelled. What's said in the unspoken poetry? There's thousands of words left unsaid in images snapped, capturing magic in an instant, held frozen in time forever. And that's that one. Thank you very much. So yeah, over to Kelly, and then I think we'll have Ross.
Thanks, Phil. I'll state at about 8:30 probably. So I'm just going to read a couple. The first one is my first attempt at a prose poem. I'm in a creative writing group, and we've been looking at those. And it's about my husband is writing a book about Lakeland geology, and I'm editing it. And it's been a really interesting experience. So this prose poem is about that. Meeting in deep time. I'm on a journey inside my husband's head. We normally exist in different worlds, me with my words, him with his rocks. But now I'm editing his book and traveling back 400 million years. I'm starting to understand how slowly tectonic plates meet and move apart, how layers of rock can shift, how they thrust, fold, edge into one another's space, how vast glaciers freeze the warm earth and thaw into torrents, sculpting jagged mountain peaks and deep valleys. I'm seeing the orange pyroclastic flows that obliterated ancient slopes, the swarms of rounded drumlins under the grass, like whales breaking the surface. I'm realizing that 1,000,000 years is the tiniest sliver of time, that the two of us and every thought we've ever had are at once unimportant and infinitely precious. Thanks. And then the other one I wrote today, it's a series of linked haiku. It's a form called an answerine. I think it's been invented by someone in a haiku group, and you'll understand why it's called that, I think, when I read it. These February days, my daily walk is hard graft, and then sun breaks through. And then sun breaks through, just when I least expect it to, in the bitter cold. In the bitter cold, hardy dog walkers grimace, our eyes meet and shift. Our eyes meet and shift as we try to stay apart. The path is narrow. The path is narrow, the Solway crashes below, the gulls cry above. The gulls cry above, wheeling through drifting grey clouds, and then sun breaks through. And then sun breaks through, bringing whispered hope of spring, these February days.
Oh, that was really clever.
Kelly, is your husband called Phil?
Sorry, no.
Oh, he isn't.
No, he's called Ian Francis, and the book will be coming out probably this autumn, I think, with Crowwood Press. Look out for it.
I know a guy called Phil Davis who's written a geology book on the lakes. That was all. So.
Oh right, yeah, there are a few.
Maybe all the Davises are into the Lakeland geology. That was great. I like that cyclical thing of the hikers. That was good. Yeah, very good. Snuck two in there. That was sneaky. Okay, Ross, over to you.
Hello everyone. Yeah, last time out I did a poem about Glasgow, and sort of in amongst the kind of messed up notes and everything, there was one about Edinburgh, sort of a couple of sheets down. So I thought it'd be nicely symmetrical if I did that one. Yeah, this is quite an angry one compared to the last one, which tells you a wee bit about how I feel about Edinburgh compared to Glasgow. And it was written after, I think I went to visit a friend of mine who was in a show at the Edinburgh Festival, and it's called on trying to buy a black coffee in Edinburgh. I need a hit. Unfunky cold Adina in fuzzed up morning visuals. Streets designed by Escher on shrooms. I stumble half blind down Odessa steps, hairpins and crooked crescents. In shadows of Arthur's seat, I long just to sit. I need a hit. The height of the fest. Players fling flyers like shurikens into the heaving throng. They jab and greet and beg and pleep, psyching them up for the matinee. The street becomes stage, and the Royal Mile is flattened and stretched like a lump of dough. They place for heathen or hangover or both. Even natives avoid it. I need a hit. So son, dinna pester me with that lamented sign of our times, the coffee menu. Paninis are for sticker albums. Costa played for Milan, and Starbuck was in Battlestar Galactica. Don't you know nothing, man? I won't be tempted by sweet treats, nor threatened by reward cards. Plus, whoever thought it was neat to disclaim yummy stuff as a legitimate ingredient needs drowned in the guff. When I grunt black coffee, don't ask with milk, and definitely not what flavour. Why not try an eggnog latte, sir? Behave, you. Your cappuccinos, mochachinos, and frappuccinos drive me rage. Where's Al Pacino and his little friend when you need the gauge? Thank you.
Yeah, that sounded like the festival to me. That was great. Thank you very much. Okay, Jeanette, and then we'll have George after Jeanette. Thank you.
Yeah, try and find it. As part of Pen 48, they've got a little competition going at the moment. So a poem on this photo. I don't know, you can't really see it on the iPad. It's like an empty room as if everybody's fled. So I've called it Moving On. I can't see with my glasses on. Perished drapes like moth-wing dust on weakened floor long trodden. Wishful windows latched with rust by once starry chair forgotten. Tales got stirred in peeling paint, layers dimmed in the shade. Shadows left and left their taint in melancholy jade. An unlit fire, cold mantelpiece, holds withered blooms, crestfallen. Hinges squealed in days gone by, but got silenced by the solemn. He had to leave his crumbling shell. The roof caused too much pain. Troubled tiles gripped hard, he fell as the rafters took the strain. The colours of his life took flight. Suffocation gave no space. He opened doors towards fresh light, then found he had a place. On looking out, his eyes arose, with metal reawoken. Butterflies sleep with their wings closed. Moths rest with their wings open. How's that? Thank you.
That was brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, George.
Right, thanks, Phil. I've had a project I've been working on for a long time, which was about just dictating poems straight onto the phone and then trying not to edit at all. So, apologies. I don't think I've done this one before, and it's got an image in it which sticks with me, and maybe you'll see why. There's a number of things, but this is called "To the Girl in the Fishnet Hot Pants," original tapes. And actually, it's about Glasgow, which Ross kind of reminded me about it, and I pulled it up quickly. Girl, you're too young to need to do this, to sell yourself short, for you are short. In the silver fishnet hot pants on a Glasgow street, you don't need to do this, surely. I can't see your face, but I'm sure you're attractive without laying everything bare. Silver crisscross pattern across bare buttocks, firm, young. Should I be looking? Well, you've laid them for me on a plate or on a pavement. I despair that you felt bare with how you had to come out tonight. I know you're not bare, not actually bare, but you are as close as you could get without being arrested. I wonder what your father said when you left the house. If you showed him when you left the house, or did you hide beneath a coat? What did your mother say? Did she remember doing similar things? Yearn for a lost body? Think you flaunt it, girl? Or are you rebellious, can stifle any opposition? They just want you to be safe. You know, they just want you to be safe. And I think there are more things to life than being cold in a dark night, to being vulnerable in a Glasgow night. Wonder how we came to this.
Yeah. It's a good question. Roz, what have you got for us?
Right, I've got a couple tonight, but I'll give you one to start with when I can find it. Press the button. Right, now I've lost you lot. Where are you?
We're here.
You're in a little tiny square in my screen. Never mind, I'll find you in a minute. Not quite sure what this is. It's more of a musing than anything else. Right, it's called True Facts. A fact is a truth, not an interpretation. Facts are, in reality, true, but truth doesn't rely on fact. The dishonest, who are very fond of facts, present facts that support the truth they want others to accept as reality. Using this ploy, they convince the easily led, all those who are willing to believe because they hope for something beyond the reality of their lives. A deceiver will fool the gullible, who innocently repeat falsehoods. Honest liars, sincere liars, who will create a new truth, one that no longer relies on fact. Believing a thing is true is enough. In fact, truth is a tricky concept. And that's that, I'm afraid. I think that was Donald Trump that got me set off in that direction. And I've completely lost the images of Zoom. Sorry, I'll shut up when I can find the picture. I could turn it.
Thank you.
That was great, and yeah, well said. And I think if you click on the little picture of us, I think we might come back to the big screen. I think.
I'm trying it, but it's not doing it. I think I might have to sign out and come back.
Oh, okay. That was great. We'll see you in a second.
Sorry, I'll go away. Bye bye.
No. It's a smooth operation as always. So here we are. Okay. Next up is Craig, and then we'll have Hazel and Mark.
I've actually wrote some poems this time. So I've got one.
What
about,
accent are you going to do them in, Craig? Are you going to do
well,
them in?
I thought I'd actually read it in my own accent this time because of how well it went down last time when I tried John Cooper Clarke.
It was good.
It was the second best John Cooper Clarke accent of the evening, I think.
You're very sweet to say so.
So this it's funny you said there's a new speakeasy coming out because this one's called Reading Poetry. Poetry books are stupid. Publishers should be booted. Compressing emotion into 2 dimensions and flogging it by the pound. Leave your audience expecting rhymes as if that's the definition of the form. But how else do you characterize poetry? I can tell that's what this is because the words don't go all the way to the right of the page. How can the audience ride the passion of the piece when communication is so constrained by the limitations of our agreed upon writing system? How are they supposed to interpret the line? Breaks. The performance is more than the text. Poetry books are stupid. And then...
That was great. Do you want to save the next one for next time round?
Yeah, sure.
That would be great. Yeah. I don't know. I should stick up for poetry books, seeing as Susan and I put together poetry books at Cold Dew Press, and not all poetry books are stupid. Other non-stupid poetry books are available.
Poetry doesn't have to be fact.
True. We're back to Roz and the what's true and false. Oh, good. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Hazel, save us from this silliness.
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to necessarily save you or save us. Anyway, I found this that I'd written. It's probably a little bit long, but I thought it was written just after the last speakeasy at Foxy's Cafe. And it just struck me that I didn't come to any at the source. So the chances are I hadn't read bits of this. So anyway, I thought I'd try that tonight. The last speakeasy at Foxy's Cafe. I drive through a night of summer rain, not quite worthy of the I've never known a night like it. Listening to delicious David Tennant and his delightful familiar vowels describe Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman's collaboration in Good Omens as combining comedy and high drama, the domestic and cosmic, a suitable paving of the way for Speakeasy's magic. Later, Tennant says, Armageddon feels frighteningly close. You can almost smell it. I'm often startled by the power in a line, a phrase, a poetic image, a haiku, capturing a reality and rendering its essence more vividly than any other means of replication, analog, digital, musical, sculptural, multimedia. And so to the night proper, the night of pushing Armageddon back, sipping decaffeinated flat whites. The leaded version would keep me up all night, an indulgence I would pay for dearly. Pushing the problematic politics to the margins to allow dissenters' voices, resistance ethics in every breath as they weave imaginative distraction with optimistic incantations, manifesting the cornerstones of a new forged civilization with an ecological spirituality adjoining with Gaia, focused on caretaking our awe-inspiring planet and the species on it. I love the poem journals of creative forays, responses to the Alex Katz exhibition. So sorry I missed that. Doesn't mean I can't squirrel that trigger away with collection of possibilities. I'm going to miss it. Lines, phrases, words, associations, inspirations. I really should write a poem about the liver. And then there's time and tide, always fruitful for philosophy and memoir, more psychogeographical opportunities. So many events and projects in the pipeline. Regretfully, I'll miss many with commitments to other strands in my life. Leaving another speakeasy night, poem loaded, saturated with inspirational creativity, the yeasty broth of potential poem seeds, possible poetic explorations, hosted in Fox's Cafe for the last time. Walking in the mild drizzling rain past a warm lit splendour of red stone Gothic cathedral, sprinkled with agitated chatter from an insomniac seagull, I clutch cake, fuel for later, the only way to mark the close of this chapter, this Fox's Cafe chapter. Well, write a poem or two, or more, 3 or 4. That was it, thank you. Probably was a bit long, sorry about that.
That was great. Thank you very much. I was going to say, has Mark there got something to read as well?
Yeah, only short though, Phil.
That's okay. I just realised because we've got 2 Marks, but one's called Fernando Smith, so we call one Fernando Smith, and you can be Mark. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, this one is called Autumnal Poet. Autumnal Poet. Dark moon signals the answer migration. Clear, frosty dawn. Distinct calls near. Grey-like geese draw the season to a close, arrowing the direction of the spiraling year. Autumnal Poet has returned. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, we've got about 5.5 minutes to go, but that's probably time to get a few more people in. Jean, have you got something? Yeah, and then we'll maybe have Mike Smith if there's time.
This is called A Room for Carol. A sea glass view. Even a grey and sullen sky you'd have loved. Open space to replace brick boxes. Salt blue nights without the orange glow from the chemical works. You'd have opened the windows wide, like you opened my mind. Standing on tiptoes, you'd have snuffed, long and smiling, at sun skittering off wave tops, or even at fog. You'd have photographed it too, with the latest self-timing, self-composing, self-deleting gadget cam. And you'd have brewed coffee in a chunky mug with pillows of froth scraped from the edge of the milk pan. A dachshund would waddle in, snort, and leave us to chinwag. Thank you.
That was lovely. Thank you very much. We've only got about 4 minutes. Mike, is that enough time for you to do something?
Sorry, my lights have gone out. Take it as a metaphor. This one's called Fault Lines, and it picks up on Kelly's sort of imagery, really, coincidentally. Tectonic plates move slow, crawl, push, press, grind, override, are forced below. Rough edges lock and hold till something snaps, till something cracks. Mountains fold, fires split the ground. And over unendurable times, the pressure builds until it shakes to breaking all our lives. Earth shall rive, the sky shall fall, oceans boil, and mountains drown. You will survive. There you go.
Ah, fantastic. Okay, we've got about 2 minutes. Ali, have you got something that you can want to take up 2 minutes, or do you want me to push the button to start?
Yeah, I've actually got 2 short ones, so
okay.
I'll read my 2 short ones, or 1 short one.
Fantastic.
Iced primroses. A vintage brooch, bone china, made in Britain. I knit a stem, cradle the blossom in my warm palm. Ice melts, petals soften. A small pond magnifies my lifeline. Lutet. Lutet sips icicle tips under the eaves. Light catches pale jasmine, soft blue. Silver droplets fall in slow motion. That's it.
Brilliant. That was great. Thank you very much. We've got less than a minute, so I'll push the magic button.
Kelly, was that haiku thing that you talked about, is that very similar then to the Corona for sonnets, where you utilise the first lines and last lines and it finishes off with the last line, you know?
The way it works, yeah, the third line of the first stanza is the first line of the next, and then the final stanza you're supposed to use those 2 lines reversed. So yeah, it's interesting. I'd never come across it before, and it's a nice form. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was really nice the way they sort of had that cyclical kind of nature. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Yes, John Scrivens, have you got something for us?
Yep. Hi, folks. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Fantastic.
Yeah, excellent. Good. Still saving up for a haircut. I thought I'd dig out one with a winter theme, as it's minus something rather outside. It's really nippy today. This is called Winter Morning. The cold will sting my nostrils when I wake. I'll grab the kids and tell them there's been snow. Let's get the sledge. Now, where do you want to go? What hats and gloves and cozies shall we take? We'll skim smooth stones across the frozen lake and stamp and slide until our faces glow. I'm back in childhood all those years ago. We'll crunch the ground like icing on a cake. It's Monday. Diary muddle, my mistake. The windscreen's white, can't get the car to go. My hands are throbbing, 4 degrees below. The wiper blades so hard, I fear they'll break. I hate this daily death, this 9 till 5. Speed Friday night, and I can come alive. That's it.
Really lovely. Thank you very much. Okay, Susan.
Hello. Well, Philip's requested this because it's going to be Chinese New Year the weekend, is it?
I think so.
It's the Year of the Ox, which is a very good year to be born in. So, once upon a time, a long, long time ago, 12 animals in China stood and waited in a row. It was New Year, and they had all been called out from their home to choose which beast was best and name the year for them alone. The animals were rowing, each one thought he was the best, and that the year should have their name, and the gods forget the rest. The gods, meanwhile, had heard the din. They had made quite a racket. They vowed they'd find the noisiest critter, tell it off and smack it. Each creature thought that they could make the gods choose it, no fear, so gave a little speech to show why they should head the year. Pick me, the rabbit said. I'm kind and I take care. I smooth the rows and fuss and fights. I'd be a worthy hare. The monkey chattered, I'm the one who can do lots and lots. I'm clever, quick and brainy too. Off the others I knock spots. The snake just hissed, I'm elegant and very, very wise. I'm not a fool, I'm brilliant and better than you guys. The rooster brushed his feathers down. You know that I am boss. You know that I am strong and good. Choose me or it's your loss. The ox just waited patiently and shook his heavy head. He'd rather wait or set to work than try to change what was said. The horse knew he would be well liked. So easy then, pick him. He knew that he had lots of charm and wasn't all that dim. Hey, gods, the tiger growled. You know you won't get any better. I should be your number one. I am a real go-getter. We've all got good in each of us. Don't make it any trickier. They'll have to choose for themselves, said Dog. You'll only make them pickier. Ram said nothing, no wish to fight. He was calm and quiet. He'd be pleased for who was top. He wouldn't cause a riot. Pig looked around. These were his friends, but he'd fight to win the choosing. If others won, well, such is life. He saw no shame in losing. Dragon couldn't wait to hear the gods read out his name. He squirmed and wriggled and giggled and squiggled. He was sure he'd win this game. Rat looked on and bit her lip. She couldn't win a fight against the bigger animals, as she was small and light. Her voice was small and squeaky against roars and woofs and bellows. She'd never get the gods to hear over the other noisy fellows. She tried to think why she should have a year named after Rat. Why should the gods think she deserved an honour such as that? Just then the gods spoke out. Be quiet, you're going to have a race. That's the way we'll find the beast who's got the winning face. Oh no, thought Rat, my little legs will not outrun the horse. or overtake a rabbit's speed. I'm sure to lose, of course. A swimming race, said God Erlang. We'll use the Yangtze River. The first to reach the furthest bank will be named the winner. Get ready now to dive in, said the god of tests, Kuei-Zing. He counted down 3, 2, 1, and splash! They all jumped in. Pig soon fell behind. He tried but couldn't win the race. The dog tried hard, but other beasts splashed water in his face. The rooster thought he'd win, but didn't like the water really. The monkey, sheep, and horse saw others swimming past them clearly. The snake and dragon thought a swim would suit them best of all, but saw the rabbit overtake, and tiger beat them all. But in the lead, what a surprise! It's Ox. Who would have thought? He'd swum and plodded on the furthest bank he sought. And just as he reached out to win and hoof the other side, another creature jumped to land who'd hitched a naughty ride. It's Rat, the winner, Fosing said. She cheated, yelled the others. She simply used her cleverness to beat her bigger brothers. You've all got strengths and skills and charms and things to like or not. And since you all tried very hard and gave it all you've got, we'll give each animal a year, said Goddess Kuan Yin. So everyone has had a chance to be first and to win. So that is how the Chinese years are laid out, just like that. The order of the race, and top is sneaky, clever rat. There we are.
Brilliant. Great stuff.
But the Year of the Ox is obviously the best one.
Yeah. Obviously.
I prefer the years with the sea themes to them. It reminds me of
personal.
We were made for one another, you and me. It shouldn't be a shock, for I was born in the year of the whelk and you the year of the rock.
Nearly Valentine's Day. That's a lovely sentiment.
I don't know if there's a Year of a Plough or something, but the Year of the Ox or the Year of the horseradish sauce or something. I don't know.
It should be. Let's start that. Richard, what have you got for us?
I got one of these, which you may recognise as a dinosaur.
Year of the Dinosaur.
And this is called The Dinosaur's Revenge. How they get revenge will be made clear at the end of it. We thought it all was going rather well. Some of us grew to enormous size. I'm a tyrannosaur, can't you tell? Don't try to run, that wouldn't be wise. I will catch up with you with my massive stride, then clamp you in my colossal jaws. Many of your kind have run but died, torn to shreds by my razor-sharp claws. One day, literally out of the blue, as with other creatures I toyed, the skies turned black. Why, I haven't a clue. Ah, the Earth was struck by an asteroid. I had a dream to join a rock band. My plan's in tatters. I run amok, flailing in waters and shifting sand. Why were we hit by that stupid rock? I thought of a name. It was T-Rex. Pterodactyl, maybe I'd avoid. Play cool guitar and have endless sex. No chance now after the asteroid. Me and my whole family slowly died. There was no food. We met our demise. Our glorious future was denied. Those that survived were quite small in size. It's ludicrous beyond all words. I considered might couldn't be beat. But the smallest evolved into birds and thus lived on. Their revenge is sweet. Thank you. Yes. It's about the asteroid that caused an annihilation of most of the animals and things on the world about 260 million years ago. I wasn't there, but I thought I'd write it from a dinosaur's perspective.
That was the year of the rocks.
Yeah, the big one that hit.
Cool, fantastic. And Fernando Smith, hello.
Hello. I should come with a plan really, because I sort I always feel I've got something to say about everything that people have delivered, have spoken about. You're thinking, oh, that reminds me of that, and that's, and so I've got a story for everyone. So maybe we should just do that instead. But we won't have long enough. So I'll do this instead. And I was looking through. I've got dozens and, well, you know, notebooks. We've all got notebooks, haven't we? And I was looking through some this morning, and things were falling out, pictures and old drawings and ideas and stuff, and some stuff from the 90s came out, and this was one of them, and I'd forgotten all about this. And this is based on someone that I knew when I was a young man, when I was, I think, but I was about 20, something like that, 19. And so it's a true story, which is unusual for me. It's called Goodbye Friends. We gave up on touching one another and became closer that spring, taking showers together behind the sculptures. I asked your friend on a date. Are you stupid? She laughed. Surely likes girls. Holding hands at the cinema. We were sort of cousins who kissed a bit. You touched my arm on the corridor as we passed. You heading for the textile studio, me heading for the pub. I'd unbuckle the straps on your dungarees. You'd catch it just in time. You moved across town to a shared house overlooking the old docks. And 2 weeks later, we were strangers and hardly spoke a word. Was it you or me who fell in love first? Was it the wind or the tree that pushed the fruit to the ground?
That was lovely. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, it's back to me. I should get some kind of plan for the evening as well. That would probably be a good idea, but never mind. I cobbled this together earlier on, and it's sometimes I do my own brand of not singing, but I usually can't remember the tunes. So funnily enough, it's called Lifeline, which Alison just mentioned Lifeline in her a lovely poem about the small pond magnifying the lifeline. So, yeah, it goes something like this. As we stumble through an unknown land, you kindly lend a guiding hand. We'll get through this together, we hope. Just gotta pull on the safety rope. I get so scared when you're not there, 'cause you're my lifeline. Yeah, yeah, you're my lifeline. You're my lifeline. Can't always see you when the mist comes down. Can't tell apart the real or phantom sounds. I try to trace your footprints in the winter snow. Snowflakes fall and away they go. I get so scared when you're not there, 'cause you're my lifeline. Yeah, yeah, you're my lifeline. You're my lifeline. I hope one day that we will reach a distant shore and undiscovered beach. No more troubles and no more waves. We'll be free to go any place. I get so scared when you're not there, 'cause you're my lifeline. Yeah, yeah, you're my lifeline. You're my lifeline. We're walking in circles around and around, waiting for that day to break new ground, putting those features back on the map, remembering the heroes with every clap. And I get so scared when you're not there, 'cause you're my lifeline. Yeah, yeah, you're my lifeline. You're my lifeline. You're my lifeline. And there you have it. Thank you very much. So yeah, back to the start. Kelly, do you have another one before you dash off for your soup?
Yeah, I just thought I'd read another very quick one. This is from a rather lovely anthology called Writers in the Winter Museum, published by the Sen House Museum in Maryport. And Alison's got some really beautiful poems in it. This is one called about Herne the Hunter. There's a carving of a god, a rather mysterious ancient god called Herne the Hunter. And this is a little poem I wrote about it. To Herne the Hunter. You gaze at us from a simpler past, a time of kill or be killed. You are gimlet-eyed, poised and still. Squatting, alert, splay-toed, fleet of foot, watching your prey. Horned god or mythical figure, who can say? An eagle's wings spread above your head. You know your own worth, strong as a tree, rooted in earth. Watch over us, Herne, in this time of plague. Teach us another way to be, how to fight an enemy we cannot see. That's it. Thank you. I'll just sneak off in a minute. Okay.
Okay, well, enjoy the soup, and we'd like full details of the soup next time we see you. Okay, cool.
See you all. Good night.
Bye, Kelly. And hello, Tony.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Goodbye to Kelly. Oh dear.
No, it's good. How are you doing?
Pretty well, thank you. Pretty well, yeah.
We've just finished one circuit, but if you've got something, do you want to share something? I hope everybody's okay with that. And then after you, we'll be back to Ross. So Tony, have you got something you'd like to share?
If perhaps I could do it in the next one, as this time I have just got one poem, and it will give me a bit of time to get worked in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great. Cool. Okay. We'll have Ross then.
Okay. Yeah, this is pretty much along the theme of not having a plan again. Yeah, this is something that I wrote. It's more of a kind of wee prosy piece, this one. But I'm part of the Carlisle Writers Group, so Susan and Jean probably read this before. But yeah, we had to do something about a month ago to do with the prompt, which was, it was cold and damp, and I could hear something breathing in the dense darkness. Here it is. Yep, the freezing cold and the malingering damp on the walls of this tenement bedsit was standard service. Mrs. Pawlowski wasn't too keen on heating up these massive buildings for no reason, and the rotten walls weren't much of a priority for our landlady either. She didn't even give us a bulb for the main corridor because of folk leaving it on all night. So a fairly standard, fairly freezing Hogmanay. The breathing in the corner, though, was not so standard. I'd seen a lot in my 20 years, but some things still gave me the creeps, and I had them bad right now. I'd seen mice and cockroaches flutter about in the downstairs corridors, but never up this high, on the top floor. Nah, this was a guy, and a big lumbering guy at that. But what the hell was he doing in my room? All right, the festive period was a notorious scunner for the homeowners of the south side, but whatever dafty burglar had verily decided that hitting my room on Hogmanay was a good idea was evidently a desperate desperado of the highest order. I squinted, hoping the moonlight through the big bay window would give me a clue. No chance. The sky was so bloody cloudy and the curtains so thick I couldn't see a thing. I could hear one of the dodgy floorboards creak as he moved past the window. I reached under my bed for the baseball bat and he was down there somewhere, wondering if anyone had ever bought a baseball bat in a Glasgow sports shop with the intention of hitting a home run rather than a home intruder. Through this mist of half-sleep and unremitting fear of impromptu death in the dark, my whiskey-basted brain finally clunked into gear and I found myself mouthing one word. Wally? The startled, croaking response was more akin to the prior creak of a floorboard than a human voice. What the Christ is going on? I'm just gone to the bog. I fumbled outside of the sheets in the blasted cold and managed to lock my hands around the wooden handle of the bat and the on switch of my bedside light at the same time. The puny sidelight illuminated the bedsit well enough. Wally, my aging tenement neighbour, was now stood in front of the wee coloured glass fire and the kitchen stove which lined the wall beside the bay window. He pointed a Fagin-esque finger towards the discarded fish supper debris that sat atop the stove, looking utterly confused. Fortunately for me, he was still utterly clothed too. What are you doing in here? He asked, scratching his baldy head. What are you doing, more like? This looks like the bloody bathroom to you. I must have made a wrong turn there. Aye. This should have been Wally's prompt to leave immediately, but he remained, staring at the bulb of my lamp like it was an alien spaceship about to beam him away to some Barry Boozer in outer space. Mind, I must have looked equally glaky and silly, tucked up in bed with only a baseball bat for company. Go on, Wally, get out! I yelled, the fury visible in the cold air surrounding the bed. Ah, sorry, son. Wall dragged himself into beleaguered action and eventually out through the ajar door. Happy New Year, he gurgled as he stumbled down the corridor. Happy New Year, you daft old Jakey. My new New Year's resolution was to badger Mrs. Pawlowski for a decent lock on my door. Thank you.
That was really good. Thanks. Okay, Jeanette.
Right. I don't know whether these are haiku or is it seniru when they've got like human foibles. Anyway, I've tried to write them in Cumbrian, so bear with me. So the first one is Carlisle clarity, castle and cathedral bells, be just and fear not. And then I've got to pap or not to pap is never noble, sort the daft sell out. And Shekin and Fairshant, she hid but then came for it. Shy bairns get knee sweets. So.
Brilliant.
One of my colleagues would always say that when folk, we used to give away free biscuits at the coffees, and then we stopped just giving them away and folk had to ask for them. And this caused such resentment amongst customers. You've no idea. And one of my colleagues would always go, "Shy bairns getting out, shy bairns getting out." And I'm like, all right.
That's great. George.
Right, Phil, thanks. Yeah, I hadn't intended to do this at all, but it's always the same when you come to these things. You hear something, as Mark was saying, and it suddenly triggers a thought in your head. And I actually had a thing that I did not that long ago, which is kind of linked sonnets, but not enough to actually qualify, I think, to call it a corona, because I think you need more than, I would say you need more than two for that. So this was, and it actually ties in with snow. So this is in Barshaw Park, is a big park near me. In the park, memories of the view from Barshaw Hill, a summer day, an early morning breeze, children playing by the pond, in the trees the rooks are cawing. There's a thrill in watching a pup discover scents, greet neighbours, a golden Labrador. Friends gather for a chat, and I store happiness to mine, now youth is spent. Age has the pleasures of 1,000 walks, the football games played in the old cow park, that tree which grew round railings by the road, daisy chains my dad made by piercing stalks. I climbed these gates when locked in after dark, so many joys that years cannot erode. So many joys that years cannot erode. The golf course where I lost too many balls, and where in snow I had so many falls. The sled soaring from a tee with overload of me and 3 friends, all about to die, until rough glass slowed our onward rush. We lay looking up through a holly bush to snowball clouds against a pale blue sky. My times for games like these has seeped away, but I can clothe this place with white and green. The faces that I love are with me still. Pandemic threat may have me in its sway, but shut my eyes and everything is seen. Memories of the view from Barshaw Hill.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Cool. Have we still got Roz? Or is Roz might have disappeared. If Roz comes back, and we'll put Roz back in the mix. Okay. Craig, have you got another one for us?
Yeah, I'm not sure how well this one will work over Zoom, but I'll give it a go anyway. It's called Counting Sheep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. I think we're all starting to nod off a bit there, thinking of sheep and. I got a message from Roz as well saying her internet's gone all funny, so she'll have to watch the rest on the recording. So goodbye to everyone for this evening, and that. So we'll see Roz next time. There we are. Hazel, do you have another one?
That's it. Bloody thing wouldn't respond there.
Rocket.
Right, I know. I did have another one, which started off about familiars and genies, and originally I called it my gin, as in, you know, the thing that you kind of put in a bottle, and then I thought it might be quite funny just to call it my gin genie, kind of nod to David Bowie, but not. Anyway, there he is again, my gin genie, mischievous, elemental, I think incidental to my life, my responses, but is that true? I'm unaware until discord creeps in, until a chasm opens up again in my psyche. I cast around for the story that makes sense of my glorying gin genie's chaos and devastation. Contemplation of the underlying dynamics gives no clarity, for who would consider a malevolent elemental's input in their weighing the balance of pros and cons? The gin genie happily swings on those scales, chuckling gleefully, weaving delusion as profound as trumps to my outlook, if not as cataclysmic and dangerous as his, upsetting the apple cart of my equilibrium again. Naughty gin genie. That was it.
Fantastic. And Mark, there, have you got another one as well?
Yes, I have, Phil. Yeah, it's on a similar theme to the last one. It was out while I was bird watching on a local patch, and it's just from the observation, really. It's entitled Waffle. Waffle. Flocks of answer approach. ripple of staggered wing beat. Family groups in strands of DNA. Ranks broken, geese descend, waffling to stubble fields. Thank you.
That's great. It's ascending to stubble fields like that. I love. Fantastic. Cool. All right, we've got about 5 minutes. But hopefully that'll be time. Where are we at? I think it's Jean. Do you have another one, Jean? Fantastic.
Sorry, I've got a cat on my knee. It's actually Victor. She's got sharp claws. This is called Please Do Not Resubmit This Form. If you are any age, you have every reason to be happy. She was no age at all, not for nowadays. Select duration of rail card, 3 year, 1 year, forever. She knew it was coming. She still bought a diary. Choose the type of rail card you would like. Digital, plastic, linen. She wanted new bed sheets and pillowcases. The others were full of germs. Who is the rail card being purchased for? The rail card is for me. The rail card is for someone else. They poked old scars and weighed her heart. How would you like it delivered? First class post, wrapped in silk, cherished in a locket. They gave me a strand of hair, curled asleep in a brown envelope. Please destroy your old rail card. Cut it up and dispose of it carefully. Burn it and blast the ashes into howling, into dead letters, into a long slog up Skiddaw alone. I think someone better just do something cheerful after that.
That was lovely. That was powerful. Powerful. Okay, we've got 3 minutes. Mike Smith. There's 3 minutes.
I like that last poem, really a lot. This one's called Shropshire Hills, December 2019. Hilltop trees that once were driven back to higher ground by field's mechanical advance seem now to crowd at some Romano-British kill. Slopes are stripped of cattle. Mud drowns the grass. Stubble snags the skimming glimmers of the sun. Hedgerows with pale, bare, captive, orphan trees are sticks to filter feed on frost's raw light till spring. Whatever we have done, and for however long, rusting iron and ashlar stone, straight lines and tethered curves tell. We have gone, but shall return, just as trees, nimbly overstepping fences, will. There you go.
Fantastic. Really good. We're running out of time on this section, so I'll push the magic button. We'll all sign back in again. Next up will be Alison Barr. See you in a second.
Oh, first back, Phil.
Yeah, hooray.
I must be getting better on the buttons. Right,
Must be. That was good. Good. Yeah, I like the dinosaurs one. That was good.
That's a lot better. Yeah, I suddenly thought about writing about one about asteroids and dinosaurs, and apparently birds are actually descendants of dinosaurs, so it has a bit of ring of truth to it as well.
There's a very strong
So-
theory.
So while we're waiting on everyone, I'll just tell you about the next poems. A story that my dad told me. He lived in Granton in Edinburgh, and a life of abject poverty, really. One of the stories that he told me was that he was very ill. Well, he was starving, really, and his mum took him to the doctor, and the doctor gave his mother a bottle of tonic water. So the next day he went, he was really hungry, and he looked in the cupboard, and all that was in the cupboard was just this bottle of tonic water. So he grabbed it and downed it all. He was so hungry. But you know, I'm so lucky that I've got what I have, such a contrast to his life. So we're time traveling again, not as far as the dinosaurs, but this time to 1945. Joe wanders in from the street, and it startles him like a warning light. A red-petaled geranium beams from the middle of the mantelpiece. A bolt of colour exposing threadbare poverty. His mother, in a mane of curlers, says, "Your dad's coming home tomorrow." "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy's coming home. Dad, away for years in a far-off place. A name at the end of a crumpled letter." Joe trawls his memories, drags up a man in an overcoat who took him to the docks and told stories about boxing in Coat Brig. It would be good to have him home, wouldn't it? Tomorrow comes, and with it Daddy. 4 kids line up with comb-pulled hair and pink-scrubbed faces, excited, uncertain. Jean gives him a cuddle. He looks down at them. "Hello, Dad," they say and stare. Joe wants to ask what the war was like, but doesn't. That evening, they sit down to a special meal. After, Dad slumps into Mum's armchair, puts on his old slippers and lights a cigarette. Unfamiliar smoke and man smell fills the room. The geranium screams out its welcome. Within a week, the petals have fallen like blood into spent fire ashes, and Dad has taken to the spare room and the drink. I know it's not very cheerful, but there you go.
I think that was not uncommon, was it, for the
No, not at all.
returned?
No. Very common thing.
Very sad. Okay, John Scrivens.
Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, we can.
Excellent, right. Now, Jill was always saying I only ever write miserable sonnets. But this one's a little bit joyous. You can think of it, Jean, perhaps as a response to something a bit more cheerful. We're delighted to say we've both had our first vaccinations, and we're quite thrilled about that. We hope you will get yours as soon as you want to have them. It's given us a new anniversary to put in the diary. We're calling it our own VE Day, which is Vaccine Escape Day. And this is it. Jab done, job done. My arms are a trifle sore. As if I care. I'll buy a brace of Lamborghini cars. Take in the Taj Mahal. I'll fly to Mars. Impressed with my sophisticated wear. I'll flash the bling, I'll maybe dye my hair and spend my time in crowded, trendy bars. I'll go to premieres, hobnob with the stars, and play for England, scoring runs with flair. How tiny are these things when I can share a handshake with my neighbour when we meet in Sainsbury's, talk and smile and go our way. But even village life cannot compare with family laughter buy the kids a treat, a hug at breakfast, quiet, happy day. That's it.
That's great. But you have to wait 3 weeks until it starts to take proper effect.
Yep, we're well in line with the idea of getting everybody done with their first jab. We think that's a good idea. Seems to be a success story.
Well, that's great. Yeah, they're getting rolled out. That's really good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next up, Susan.
It's probably about a year ago that I wrote this poem, and I've possibly read it out maybe twice. I don't know. It's maybe over a year. I don't know. It's been a long year. So anyway, every year I have this fear that frogs won't make it. Tricked into an orgiastic revelry by one fine day, and cruelly betrayed by a cruelly changed and changing world. Naked, glistening, supple bodies clamouring and clinging, with no shame at being overlooked on well-known frogging sites. But crystalline frost clumped on quivering eyeball, jelly spawn, makes me quite forlorn, in case the thaw will come too late. And similarly, toads are idiots on roads, for one was flattened on the path where I walk. Hands affronted to its throat and heart laid bare, on tarmac there for all to see. Why the crossing? Where's it going? Nowhere near a beck or stream, save the other side of new builds, driven out and into car paths. For dramatic posed demise, a silent scream from wide triangle and haunted, empty eyes. We found a toad flattened near Tony's house, and we'd seen, what was it? We'd seen something else. A badger dead on the road. And Harry said, "Oh my God, they'll be coming for Ratty and what was the other thing? For Ratty next."
Yeah.
The joke would have worked better if I'd remembered the things. But anyway.
Mentioning the frogging site sounded a bit pornographic.
Oh no.
Well, when they're there, there's loads of them. They don't care. They're not bothered if you're watching.
Moving swiftly on, Richard, follow that.
I've got one here. It's a fictitious story about a girl called Jude who got the creative writing bug. Jude, a fan of Thomas Hardy, has started to write poetry. She embarked on a creative writing course and has begun to spout a tumble of words, mixing metaphors, attempting allegory, and using dramatic description. Phenomenal for one who thought syntax was a charge for misbehavior. Now she has created a monster, fire-breathing, colossal and frightening. Although we know it isn't real, as it crashes around in a fog of her own making, sentences commence and take sudden unexpected twists and turns. Phrases spew forth, causing confusion and disturbance. Then a plot shift sideswipes us from a precarious position of comprehension into a morass of mystery beyond an imagination. We grope at grammar, look behind linguistics, and pontificate on punctuation in a vain search to extract logic and reason. Then with hyperbole heightening the emotions and paradox pulling in opposing directions, for an instant unaware of which way to wander. Then we settle, expecting the denouement to allay the misgivings. But then out of nowhere, an abrupt ending. And that's it.
That was good.
Crazy
Fantastic.
idea.
Fernando Smith.
I'm going to sing a song.
All right.
It's very unusual because I'm singing someone else's song, which I very rarely do. And I normally sing this on a pump organ, but the pump organs in an outhouse at the moment because with working from home, I'm not allowed to play it because it's too noisy and it's too cold in the outhouse at the moment. So I'm going to attempt it on the guitar. It's a song by, I was thinking earlier about, because obviously we have some dear Scots friends with us here, and I worked for many, many years all around Scotland, and it's very, very, I miss it very much. And I particularly miss it since I can't go either. And I used to, one of the places I'd work was, well, it was all over the country, but I'd spent a lot of time in Dundee and Fife. And there's a fantastic, vibrant arts and music scene in the area. This is written by Kenny Anderson, who I guess he's known better as King Creosote. And they have a wonderful scene there where lots of artists and musicians decided they weren't going to go to Glasgow or to Edinburgh or to London. They were going to stay where they were born. And there's this unique sort of scene there now that is very local, homogenous, and very different to anywhere else. And it's all, I can't promise an authentic Fife voice. I can't promise anything like that, and I won't attempt it, but it's best heard in that accent. But here we go. And it's a universal song in that whatever I think about, whatever subject you can imagine, you can make this fit into having meaning within that content. It's called Something to Believe In. So sorry, Kenny. I met him a couple of times when I was on my travels, and he's a really funny, dry man. Here we go. So I'm playing on the pump organ now. Dreaming without sleeping, it's morning. Are you leaving? But our story has only just begun. Are you willing it to end? You promised me a feeling, something to believe in. You promised me a feeling. Now promise to be real. Promise to be real. Promise to be real.
Fantastic. Cool. Tony, have you got a piece?
Right, yes. Right. If I ever get a full collection of poems published, I think I'm going to call it back and forth. So the poems will go all the way back in time from old age to people being born, and then they will look forward. And the poem, the poem which I am going to do is called Back and Forth, and it features one of my favorite bird, which is called the underling, and I'm just going to show you this picture of one. I hope it'll come through all right. There it is, a sanderling. Right. So let's have a go. Back and forth. Sanderlings go back and forth. Red on tundra. They have flown south to share the winter on our favorite beach. Shoreline scurriers dodging the waves, they dab with straight black bills at food, stranded or uncovered by ebb and flow. Head down, single-minded devourers of sandhoppers, shrimps, marine worms. Only the wet sand, only the wet sand, the wet sand harvest utters. A liminal sea fret morning. They could walk hand in hand within a few feet of this pearl grey squad before they fly away. We are as estless as these sanderlings, but our back and forth is not the same, for we're as bound by our natures as they are by theirs. They stay content in the here and now, and we must wander back in time or forth to what may be. That's it.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much, Tony.
Okay.
Cool. Right. Do we want to call it a night there? Because we've sort of reached the end of another round, and yeah, it's been really good tonight. So yeah, remember we've got Jean's folk night tomorrow night. So if anybody's interested in joining the folk night on Zoom, give Jean Hill a shout. And that's tomorrow at 7:30 for folk tunes and sea shanties and 60s pop songs that are disguised.
I think Harry's going to preview his new shanty as well.
A premiere.
Premiere, that's probably the word I was looking for. Yeah, Harry is premiering his new shanty, I hope.
Oh well, cool. Well, if anybody's interested, give Jean a shout.
Yeah, that's right. I've been trying to persuade to come to that. I sing her Scottish songs. I just have a feeling that they would be really good.
I haven't sang in ages, but one day I'll surprise you, Gina, and I'll come along and I'll belt out a ballad.
Go for it, yes.
We shan't expect you tomorrow, so that would be a surprise.
Well, I'm rowing tomorrow. Tomorrow night's my rowing night. Training.
Till what time? Till what time? It's dark.
It's about 7 till 8. I know it's not a good time because the garage is freezing and it's dark. It's 7 till 8.
Come along after 8 o'clock and warm up with some cheery songs.
I thought you girls were supposed to be good at multitasking. Adults who can only do one thing.
Yeah, have a screen on while you're rowing and just get the video off. We don't mind.
If anyone would want to hear a mad Scotsman pretend he can sing, you can catch me on SoundCloud.
You're on SoundCloud.
6 tracks.
That's right. George posted some of his music on SpeakEasy last week, so on the Facebook page.
There's 6 tracks which are all karaoke night at the asylum.
They're good. Cool. So yeah, as I say, there'll be more information going out about SpeakEasy Magazine 5 submission windows that will be opening next week. I'll put that on the Facebook page. And yeah, the John Hagley, John Keats gig on the Saturday morning of the 20th of March. Again, more information about that will be coming out soon. Yeah, and any of those other projects, just give me a shout. It's been great. It's been great this evening. A wonderful mix.
Phil.
Give yourselves a round of applause, everybody who read. And everybody who sang.
See you all next time. Take care.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you next time. Stay safe and see you next time.
Okay then.
Thanks, Philip.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Get home safe.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.